All right, so today you're going to be learning how to do one of those large fancy intersection with multiple entry points and exit points. Um, First, you need Blender. I switched to 5.0.1. It's up to you if you want to use a different version. And also, you're going to be needing Sollumz, so you can import and export meshes from GTA5. You also need the RPF Explorer that comes with CodeWalker as free on CodeWalker Discord. You get that. And then with the RPF Explorer running, just search for bus.yft. Right click, export to XML right here. And then if you have Sollumz installed, you can just drag and drop the XML into the 3D scene in Blender. Yours is gonna look a little different. I have a custom theme, but it doesn't really matter the color in that sense because uh, we're gonna be using the bus, so we have a visual representation of these distances as in how wide a line is gonna be and how tall, how much distance between the levels we're gonna be needing to create. So just like a visual helper, it's you don't have to. Why the bus? The bus is because the it's one of the longest vehicle that can drive on the road, and if you have a very long one, you will know exactly that um, when you turn, you're not gonna hit other people's cars, and you know exactly how much space you're gonna have on left and right, and that's why we need a very long vehicle that actually players may drive on road. So that's the only reason. All right, uh, we're gonna be starting with a plane. It's gonna be 8 meters by 8 meters. Uh, I chose 8 meters mainly because if you set it up like this, you will see that you have plenty of space for two buses next to each other to drive. So that will tell us that's it's plenty. So we're going to be creating a line that's going to go one way and then another mesh of 8 meters wide for the other direction. That's coming the other way. All right. So I'm going to take this one. I'm going to duplicate it. Actually, just going to do. We're going to duplicate it on the x-axis. What I want to tell you is that this tutorial is not for beginners. If you do not have experience modeling, it's going to be very hard for you to follow along with what I'm doing on the screen. So it's it. So the tutorial is going to be quite long, probably over 1 hour. And if I have to explain everything that I do, it's going to be 3 hours. So that's why I'm trying to keep it short. I'm not trying to be an asshole for people that have a hard time navigating a Blender. But it is what it is. So we duplicated this mesh. We take the one edge of the duplicated mesh and I'm gonna extrude it on the y-axis. How long? 400 meters. And then we're gonna take the other mesh. I'm gonna extrude on the x, on the y, 8 meters. I'm gonna repeat. So we need to know exactly where the 400 meters is gonna end, because this is gonna be from one way to the other way of the intersection, and we need to segment the whole piece of road is gonna be needs to be segmented. And I'm gonna be doing mass and cursor, and then this is the bus. We're gonna change the origin I changed the origin for the bus instead of the mesh. I did. God damn it. Like that. And then change the origin for the mesh. G. Then duplicate the mesh on the X. Duplicate X. Hold Control and duplicate it. So it's gonna be. So if you drive on the right side of the road, like a normal person, you're gonna have this way and go this way, and the vehicle coming incoming in the traffic is gonna be the other way. But we're gonna be merging those two. Join, I think blend. That's how Blender likes to name them, the modifier. And then we're gonna add a new modifier. We're gonna call it welds. That's gonna take care of the vertices that were not linked in here. So that's the only reason we do that. All right. And we're gonna go back to mass and cursor. That way, the mesh is right smack in the middle, centered. We're gonna be duplicated this mesh. Shift D R Z. 90 degrees. And this is going to be a high-speed intersection, and I don't want to add street lights. I don't want to add sidewalks. I don't want to do any of that stuff. So it's going to make sense down the road as no pun intended. But it's gonna make a whole lot of sense later on when I'm gonna be displacing the meshes. Next thing I want to do, it's let the so if you go down the road, I want people to exit, and instead of actually let me join this, but I'm not gonna be merging the vertices. So to visualize what I'm trying to do. So you go this way and then go this way. And then if I want to take take a right and actually go this way, I have no way of doing that. So I need to create a turning here, turning here, turning here, and turning here. So let's do the first one. I'm gonna do a cylinder. I'm gonna do 100 vertices, and I'm gonna be resizing it. Think about that's good. Then enter edit mode, select the top face, Control I to invert, and then face. Then select the face, and then apply mass cursor. So it's gonna be right smack in the middle. This may be too big. So what I wanna do is make it so this edge right here is very close to the other road, because this is going to be a line that goes that's going to merge into the traffic. So it's too big. I think this is what I want, like that. And I'm going to change the origin to right here. I'm going to snap it to the corner. And I'm going to change the origin one more time. And I'm going to snap it to this corner right here. That way I know for sure that those two is going to be very close to each other. And the moment I merge the mesh, those vertices are going to be matching the nearby vertices. All right. So next I'm going to take this face in here. I'm going to take this face in here, duplicate it, and move it on the right side. And then separate it. And then mass. I'm going to change the origin to this vertex in here, like that. Gonna move it down a little bit right before. So this is gonna allow me to know exactly how wide the line that's gonna turn right is gonna be. Uh, Let me make sense of what I just said. So this is pretty much what I'm trying to do. Respect the width of this line, have the same width from this to this. And then just delete this face, we don't need it anymore. Delete this mesh too. And then I'm gonna be deleting this face and the other one in here, like that. Delete face. Then we're gonna be extruding. Actually, we're gonna move first this edge like that, and extrude on X all the way to the end. Extrude on Y all the way to the ends. All right. Now we have this. We can duplicate it. We're gonna snap. We're gonna move the origin to the corner. And we're gonna duplicate and rotate. (180). Double checking that's actually what we want. And then we're gonna be joining this, Control J, and then duplicate, rotate. And we're gonna be doing 90 degrees. And we created the lines, the merging line from one direction to the other direction. Next thing I want to do is, for example, you're going down this line, but you don't want to go straight, you don't want to go right, you want to go left, but there is nothing in there because this line goes this way, remember. And then if I want to go this direction, there is no way for me to do that, so I'm going to be creating a new line in here that will go left. So pretty much we're just gonna be using the same mesh in here. Duplicate on Z and separate it, so I have a different one. And then do the origin change, and we're gonna mirror it. All right, like that. I'm gonna do on Y. Was not. Oh, I'm still editing the origin. So mirror. That's what happens if you don't pay attention. And so we're gonna be one. Actually, we need to go over on this side. No, on this side, right here. Okay, I'm not certain why am I overcomplicating things on here. This is a thing in here. So we need this. We need to move this 4 tiles over, and 4 tiles over like that. Enter edit mode. Extrude on Y 4 times. Extrude on X 4 times. Like that. That's going to take us very close to the center of the mesh, which is a good thing. And now we're going to be duplicating this. $180. Join, and then duplicate and rotate on Z. We're going to do 180. Just 90. That. All right. To go back to this demo in here. So we now have a way going straight, going right, and going left to join the direction, the line direction that we're trying to drive to. One other thing we're missing, for example, if I want to drive in straight, I'm coming this way, driving straight, and then I remember that I have to turn around because I have to put gas in the car. But there is no way for me to do that, so I need to find a different road to do that. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to create a roundabout, double let the player using a different line on the right side to actually go around, come around, and do a U-turn. So let's do that. Pretty much the same procedure. Create the cylinder size. Maybe this is good enough like that. and enter edit mode, and then apply mask cursor. And I'm gonna be doing the same procedure as in taking one of those faces. Or maybe I might wanna make it a little bigger. Maybe not. Duplicate on Z, separate, and then change the origin, and then snap it to the edge, and use that as a visual guide on how wide this needs to be. So I'm gonna inset and create the line in here like that, and then delete the face. And we're kind of done with the, well, not really, but this is what the roundabout is gonna look like. Get rid of that. And we're gonna take this face and some of the faces. Why is this not perfectly aligned? Hmm. So somehow this is shorter. Don't you love it when you expect to have perfect symmetry? It's not quite working. Anyway, we're not gonna dwell on that too much. We got a roundabout to complete, and as I said, we're gonna be creating. We're gonna take some of those faces from here. Number 3, select the faces that we want to work with. Duplicate on X, separate. Take this face and snap the origin to the corner like that. On the retrospect, this may not have been a good idea because apparently this is not exactly. Oh, you fuck. Dude, I'm trying to get the X. Z. So yeah, this mesh is not like that. And we got that one. We're gonna duplicate it on X, duplicate X, change the origin G, and then snap it to the corner. I want to snap it to this corner, not that corner. Like that. With that, we're going to be joining those two. like that, and then duplicate and snap it to where the intersection is supposed to be. Blender, you fuck, why? Like that. Duplicate, rotate uh, on Z, snap to the corner. Snap on the corner. And snap in the corner. If I hide everything except the roundabout, which was going to be the roundabout, looks like this. So we're going to be joining this meshes, Control J. And next thing I got to do is edit those vertices right here so it matches, because this is going to be a turn. Will allow the player to turn. Control X. So I gotta create a little bit of. Gotta merge the mesh is already merged, but they're not friendly. You cannot turn that bus in here. It's too tight. Number 2, Control X, dissolve. Number 1, select vertex, snap it. Number 2, dissolve. And the last one. Like that. That looks more like a intersection wannabe. Alright. Alright, the next thing we gotta do still bothers me that this is not right in here, but that's an easy fix. So next thing we gotta do is that you cannot have this many lines on a real world road. So we got 4 lines in here and 4 lines the other way. So we're gonna extend those 4 lines right here, and they're gonna merge on the left and the right side. It's gonna we gotta create a smooth transition from from 4 lines to what's in here 4, and then another 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6. So 6 in here, 6 in here, and 4 in here. Allow the player to actually. I think I should be adding more detail in here. Let's. If we are to do that, may as well create the details that we need to. So this is going to be, if I have to put this mesh right here in the game, it's going to be looking very blocky, very Minecrafty. So we're going to smooth out the turn in here a little bit, and Control B to bevel. Instead of beveling the edges, we're going to bevel the vertices, and we're going to do yeah, I think this is good. So as you can see, it's kind of a smoother transition from one direction to the other. Well, I haven't selected this one right here. Double checking that I selected everything. I don't. Why have I selected those? I don't need those. Yeah. Control B. And yeah, I think this is good. Let's see what the cleaned up mesh looks like without those additional cuts in here. Yeah, I guess. I guess it's a little better. We try, so we cannot go full crazy as in how much detail we're gonna be. We need to keep the poly count down to begin with because we are at the beginning of the process, and we can add more details later. It's a lot easier to add detail later than trying to decimate the mesh later and make it low poly, as because if you have to fix the mesh and you have a high poly mesh, you're fucked. Uh, and we try to avoid having to fix the meshes when we don't have to. So if we have create good topology to begin with, why is this a bitch right now? There you go. So keep moving and fix them all. Well, turn them into, remove some of the geometry that's not needed, because right now removing this will not destroy the topology, and we don't want to create issues down the road. I'm gonna do this and this like that, and Control X, J, and J, and keep going. I think we have one left in here to clean up. Almost done. Double checking. All right. Now the fun part, actually we still have to create the extra stuff in here, so let's do that. So those are merged. So we're gonna do an extrusion on the Y of 8 meters. And I'm gonna repeat that a few times. Then we're gonna take those two, which we cannot join because those are different. Extrude on Y. About there. Extrude on Y. Why so off? Oh, this was the uneven one. Yeah. And then do the roundabouts. Number 2. Extrude on Y. Hold on. I want to do the one that's fucked up. I want to do that again. And extrude it from the right dimension. Like that. It still doesn't match. Why? This is stupid. I don't know why. Let's do the roundabout. Okay, so this one matches. Yeah, fuck you, no match, motherfucker. I'm gonna teach you a lesson. This is just, yep, it's still fucked up. All right, we'll go back one, and then we go back on this one. And I'm going to take those two vertices. I'm going to bevel them so it's kind of smooth. Like that. And this line, -8 can keep on going. So this is where whatever has to happen in here. All right. Right now we're gonna be displacing them, but this is pretty much what was gonna look like right before the merge, right? Right before the displacement, we're gonna displace the roads right now. First, let's start. Which one we started with? We're gonna be starting with the one that goes the opposite direction. So we're gonna be starting with this one right here. That means we gotta separate it because we joined them. And we're gonna displace it. So this is where the bus comes in, our beloved bus. Let me move the origin so we have a good snap it right here. So we're about a meter on top of the ground, assuming this is going to be flat ground. So we're going to take this mesh right here, and we're going to displace it to hit well above like 1.5 meters, 2 meters on top of the bus. That will give us another 0.5 meter because we're going to have to extrude the mesh down to create the asphalt, right? The concrete blocks that make out the highway. So and enter edit mode, select face, those two faces. We're gonna move them high, so GZ, and it's gonna be about 6 meters. But unlike the other stop, we're gonna be enabling the proportional, and with this proportion enabled, we're gonna do 150. So we're gonna affect the mesh 150 meters from the selection, and that's how you do that. You have give yourself a little bit of space in here, and we're gonna be repeating with all other meshes. So we're gonna move this one on the second level. Why, Blender motherfucker? Why won't you let me do that shit? Right, like that. All right. So next one we're gonna be displacing is gonna be these two, and we're gonna move them 6 meters from this area. All right. So do bump. And that's exactly 6 meters. Proportional, and we're going to do another 6 meters. So we got enough space on top of the bus. This is still probably we're gonna keep this lower because this meshes is gonna be even higher. This one? No, this one right here. Edit mode. GZ. Proportional 150. Save. Let's move the bus up. and then reselect the mesh with those two faces and move it 6 meters proportionally. I think we can increase this one a bit more, maybe 170. Like that, maybe even more. 190. And then the roundabout. Number 2. Number 3 faces. Actually, number 2. Then gross selection. Control plus. Switch to face. And we're gonna move the bus right in here, because that's how much we have to displace, move on the z-axis the roundabout. GZ. Then we're gonna do proportional, and we're gonna do 150, but this is gonna be 10. Maybe it's too much. 6. Keep it real with the other stuff. Maybe more. 8. All right. So we got a little bit of an issue in here, but it's very fixable. So I'm gonna have to cut on this mesh. Actually, let's try see what it looks like if we only move it down proportionally. We still have plenty of space in here, so it's gonna be a bit trippy to go up, but it saves us a ton of work from trying to match the stuff in here and create additional cuts. So this is good, and we're gonna have to select those, realign it with the floor, take those two vertices, realign it with the highway, and this is the exits. That's going to be a bit brutal in here. Usually create this at a larger scale, but this is a video game and we don't have a infinite world, and we need to make it quick, make a quick pass on the right or on the left in here. Coming down, you'll need to merge right away into that stuff. All right, beautiful. I like it. I like it. Now, with this stuff in mind, so right now we have everything displaced. as we need. Now, one thing that I want you to be aware of is that you can actually have those edges in here. So usually in the real world, this one is going to be a bit lower, so it compensates for the speed that needs to put in it into the turn, right? Well, yes and no. Probably, most likely, you're gonna have that kind of stuff, right? Uh, I don't know exactly what's there is a technical name for it, for the technical term. I forgot what it is. But usually you create a little bit of a slope to help with the turning. Um, but you select the first one. I mean the one that's the highest in that sense, and the other opposite axis, and then how do I do this, right? Let's see, how do I do this without affecting the other stuff? So I guess from here, from here to here to here. Move it down a little bit, maybe hide unselected, and then select the top, and then G, Z, move it down, like just like half a meter, and then still use proportional, so the slope is smooth, right? I'm gonna go 30, and you got a little bit of a slope in, which is visible, but yeah. So this is how you do it, but I'm not gonna be doing it because this is just a tutorial. I'm not this. Nobody pays me to do stuff. I'm just doing for the fun of it. So I don't have to actually be that precise in that aspect. Um, all right, so this pretty much is displays exactly the way I want it. What I want to do next is take this area right here and move it everywhere in here, so there is only four axis lines from each direction. So we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, let's merge everything except for the bus. Fancy intersection. Like that. The bus is, we don't need it anymore. And we're gonna I said we're gonna have 5. So why not do it right from here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do a weld. Probably the only one that's gonna hurt is gonna be right here. So we are at 2,000 faces for 2,000 triangles, a little over 2,000. It's pretty fucking good, if you ask me, with all the stuff in here. Well, of course, it's going to double because we're going to embed the collisions. And also, we have not created the separating geometry for this stuff. And I'm glad that I saw this one. Because if you duplicate it before you fix the stuff, you're just gonna duplicate the messy stuff too. Unless you're in Germany, the highway is never gonna be perfect. And we're gonna go on that. Alright, double checking in here. So when I have the same issue. Like that. We can just apply a different another weld modifier and then fix that stuff. Alright, let's create and one more set of cuts. When you're gonna create the separators, if you don't do this, the moment you create the separators, it's gonna give you a hard time. You're gonna have to you motherfucker. Like that. And go back in here and manually merge those. And one more. Alright, we still have some weirdness going on. but that's going to be being taken care of by the modifier. Or maybe not, because there is no cuts in here. There is nothing to. So continue cutting. There we go. Took care of that issue. And now, just now, we're going to be able to duplicate those faces and move them in here. So duplicate, rotate on Z. $90 B. Gonna do I'm gonna create two more. So this is not evenly displaced. All right, I didn't expect this, but it's fine. Oh, because we have the extra stuff in here, and this one does not. So we need to remove those. That's a lot better. If only fucking Blender will let me find zoom. Alright. There you go. That's fancy as fuck, if I say so myself. Look at that. It's like a science fiction movie, dude. Um, let's make those work in here because right now we got stuff going on. First, we're gonna merge everything except for the bus. We're just gonna straight up delete it. We don't need it anymore. A, Control J. I didn't save. There you go. I forgot to apply the welds. That's fine. We can just still do this. It doesn't like it. That's fine. So what's the difference? Half a meter. That's pretty severe. So that's where the mesh goes up. This is the one we started with. And this is the stuff we still have to fix. Looking good. Who's calling? Ain't got no time for that shit right now. Apply mass. Three eight. UV reset. Cube. I think I'm ready. I'm ready to do this shit and create fancy intersection. Why do I have the 03 in here? Why do I still have shaders, motherfucker? Like that. Out embed. Well, hopefully there's no major mesh fuck ups. I'm gonna move the origin all the way down. Before creating collisions. That's important because if you set it later, the way you collide is gonna be higher than where the player is gonna be seeing the mesh. All right. We're gonna do convert to drawable. We're gonna hide the mesh. We're gonna add the collision material first. Concrete. Then we're gonna do hide the collision, show the mesh, and then we're gonna be creating two shaders, right? Drawable. Normal is gonna be bright and dark. And we already selected to see the textures. I'm gonna do the bright. Concrete. Whatever, is not important. And the dark one is gonna be pretty much from the same. So this is the spec. It's just gonna be slightly darker, not a whole lot. And embed. Blender, you motherfucker. Look at that shit. Alright. And this is gonna be a bit weird. Alright, so I haven't merged that stuff in there. That means the collision is gonna be fucked up too. Same in here. And dip, 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 dip. So usually this is done through decals. It's not done the way I'm doing it right now. But this is already a very long video, and I don't want to take the time to actually do decals. So I'm just gonna slap it in here, force it with differentiator. Control B, displace a little bit, not displace, bevel, just a little bit right here. How much is that? Quarter of a meter, 0.1. Just even less than that. Do it again. That's plenty. So we're gonna do dark. So we got like a visual distinction between the lines. It's gonna be very faint. It's gonna be very thin. But it's gonna be there. One other thing I want to do is do it this way. And maybe this way. Alright, let's see the mess we done. Did we select everything? All the way around. Yeah. Yeah, we go with this. It's good. It's good. It's good. Bevel. I forgot to take note of the numbers that I used in here, so I'm just gonna eyeball it. And dark assign. So we got a little bit of a visual between those. Just a little bit. And we have 5,000. We're looking real good in here. Let's enable the collisions. That's gonna add to that. So we're still under 10,000 for the whole fucking thing. And this is really good in that sense. It's not gonna be lagging anybody while they play. I'm thinking about adding it in here too, but most likely people are just gonna high speed out of this shit right here. And maybe later I'm thinking about adding a new mesh in here like this to cope with people may not doing the turn right. This one is still sharp. I wish it was a little smoother, but oh well. Eight lines. 8 motherfucking lines. Yeah. Let's export this. Make sure that everything is general. Export path to the desktop. Right here. And export. Bada bing, bada boom. So that's done. We're done with Blender. We're just gonna start. CodeWalker. Also, while you're still looking at my shit in here, on my Discord, I have a modification for CodeWalker that will let you load modules for CodeWalker. So this right now is a, it doesn't modify your original CodeWalker, it just adds to it, right? It's injecting some DLLs, and you have a few models, free modules that DLLs that is gonna enhance your CodeWalker right away without having to recompile anything. It's just gonna work, right? So head over to my Discord. I'm gonna leave it in the comments if you want to have stuff extra functionality on your CodeWalker. It's free. You don't have to pay. You don't have to hang out. Get the modules. Get the fuck out of there. If you don't want to hang out, then be done. We're gonna be doing a conversion. I'm gonna do common shade converter assets. Like this, and this is our intersection with embedded collisions and embedded textures. Now, what you need to know about the whole thing is this is only gonna look this way from above. The moment you are in, like driving, you're not gonna be seeing the whole thing. Mainly, well, not mainly. The only reason is because the normals are facing upward, and I have not created the geometry for the walls and all that stuff. That's going to be another hour, an hour and a half. I don't want to stretch this video for not this long. Maybe I can do it later. I'll think about it, depending on how much time I have. But what we want to see is this running right now. We can. I want to drive on this one the way it is, and then if I have the time, add the extra geometry where you can actually use it in a real scenario in the game, right? Maybe some of your server owners, maybe you want to financially support the creation of this intersection and have it on your server side unencrypted. That would be nice, huh? So we got that going. We drag and dropped into this. We do not need this anymore. I'm going to create a new folder. Intersection. I'm going to do the YDR right smack in here. We go CodeWalker. Let's copy the path. I'm going to do open folder. Select folder. We got the YDR in here, and we're gonna go new. Let's copy the file name. File, new, YMap. Select the YMap, save. Is it in the same folder? Yeah, it's saving right here. And then file, new, Y type. Select the Y type, save. And name it. Close the project window because CodeWalker is buggy, and you have to unload that from the stuff. So select the Y type, new archetype from YDR. Select the YDR, save everything once more. Yeah, so this stuff it's a module in here. I can collapse everything in here with just by clicking one. You know, when you have 1,000 drawables into the Y map or the Y type, it's you have to scroll to that fucking list for ages. So we saved everything. Close, yes, no. Select folder. And we're gonna do Y map, new entity, Control V the name. LOD is gonna be 5,000. Do not do this. This is just for testing. Although I'm quite sure it's gonna lag nobody, since it has like 10,000 triangles total. And we're gonna move it down. Like right above the power lines. Yeah, I guess that's why Rockstar never done this kind of stuff. Look how much space it takes. It's bigger than any other intersection in the in-game. Uh, it's kind of unnecessary. But again, if you want to empty the city and have your own road network in your building, that's how you do it. That's how you create this stuff. Um, and probably why nobody has done it. It's big. All right, so we're done with the stuff. Create, save everything. Tools, manifest, generate, save, like that. And then we got how many files? We got 4 files, which we're gonna be moving on the FiveM server side. Bum, bum, bum. Right here. Now, if I restart the server right now, what? You motherfucker, right now? For real? Wow. I gotta steal a helicopter, I gotta log in. Because I cannot. For some reason, I got logged off. Fuck. Right in the middle of the tutorial. Really? Where are you? Hey, look at that. Pretty fucking sweet, huh? As I said, that's why it's important to have a way of telling how wide things gonna be. Woo, boom. So this is not all that high, and that's how much space you have to you have available to play with right here. But yeah, this is the intersection. If you are into large stuff, like I'm talking about intersections, that's how you do one. That's how you do one of those. Again, to reiterate what I said, I may be finding the time to actually add the rest of the mesh, as in the walls and separations and barriers and maybe some lights and all that stuff. But if I have to do that, I will probably move the whole thing somewhere at the in the ocean so I can make use of it in one way or another. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Bye bye.